Hey guys. Yeah, by the time this video will come out, it will probably be the new season and we should be able to try out Mara and all that. But I'm recording this like the moment these patch notes came out, so which is the day before the patch goes live. So I'll basically be talking through the balance changes. If you want to see the new content like Mara, the skins, the new maps, the new game mode, there are a plethora of other content creators who do all that. But this is just the balance changes. I just want to go over the balance changes. That's it. I'll basically just go over what it means for the health of the game going forwards. Because I really hope that a lot of these changes that we're going to go through today are not permanent. And you can thank Mara for a lot of it, actually. So let's get into it. Here in balance changes, we've got overall adjustments, improved input for semi-automatic weapons, improved recoil for all weapons. I believe the recoil now is more of a linear, straightish line rather than what it used to be before. What it used to be before was still very manageable, but hey, it's a lot easier now. Super String's base HP up to 130. I remember in the test it being 150, but I'm glad they brought it down to 130. 150 HP was a little too much. 130 is manageable. It's a decent increase just to band-aid Mara for the time being, but it's not too big of an increase to impact the time to kill too much. Maybe one or two extra bullets will be needed from most characters, but base armor regeneration increased to 2 per 2 seconds. That means that regardless of what armor you'll have, you will regenerate armor slowly. Now, this does not mean you should be buying heavy armor every round. That is not what it means. What it does mean is that you can now confidently, or not confidently, but you can decide to focus on unlocking your first awakening instead of buying armor. You're less likely to live that first fight, true, but if you do, you'll still be able to regenerate that armor, that 40 armor-ish, that 30, 34 or 40 or so armor. Hey, editor here. The base armor is still 40 for most of the characters. This is just the armor bonus stuff. So, it's 80 for light armor and 100 for heavy armor. Stringification damage reduction from 40 to 33. You just take more damage while stringified now. It's just a thing. Temporary armor decay rate from 0 to 5, now 3 per second fixed. So what this means, if you don't know, temporary armor would decay from 0 per second to 1 per second to 2 per second to 3 per second to 4, etc. until your temporary armor ran out. But now, after 1 second, you'll start consistently losing 3 armor per second. This is really good for characters who end up getting a lot of temporary armor like Ming or Celestia through their ultimates. Generally, it's a buff to Celestia and Ming, so expect to have your armor for longer. Frag grenade minimum damage down to 20, detonation time up to 1.25. If you're frag happy, there you go, there's your nerf, I'm sorry. Weapons no longer reduce movement speed on hit. Thank goodness. Finally, get that out of here. This is your time to be practicing your movement to get good at dodging bullets and all that. Because you'll no longer be slowed. If you've noticed, sometimes when you're getting shot at, you'll just be slowed to a crawl. It's very noticeable when you're gliding because you'll lose all of your horizontal momentum and you'll just start slowly floating downwards. So yeah, that's nice to see. So you should be able to easily get out of fights. Yeah. Across the board, String Energy Network has been changed. Adjustments have been made to the weapon growth system. Specific changes can be tested in the String Energy Network. Now we've got base damage and base fire rate fixed to 5% increase. Basically, what this means is that most of the upgrades in the shop will be better, especially the reload speed. I know most people like to purchase magazine size instead of reload speed, but if you can confidently win fights without having to reload, take this, because you'll have to reload after the fight. The magazine upgrade is good if you're not great at hitting your shots and you need the extra bullets to land and confirm the kill. But with reload speed, that's definitely what you should be taking if you're winning those fights confidently. Moving on to the agent-specific changes. First, we've got Ming, who has a damage decrease across the board, but that is made up by the fact that she now deals extra damage to enemy armor. Ming is just the same as before, except she deals less damage to HP. That's it. Simple. Bimo's getting buffs. Base fire rate up by 5, base magazine up by 1, and overall spread reduced by 5%. Ooh, Blitzwolt's now refunds 4% instead of 3%, and passive skill upgrade is minus 10 damage required to trigger. I mean, maybe Ica has some more competition now, I guess. Galatia, optimized weapon control, rate of fire up to 700, big increase, base magazine capacity up to 26. The base fire rate is a huge improvement that basically puts a weapon up to par with M4s like Michelle's or Fragrance, and the damage decrease is warranted due to the rate of fire increase. Flavia, base magazine capacity increased by 1. I mean, it's 1 bullet. Maybe it'll make a difference. Probably not, though. Optimized overall spread of Calibrator. Optimized the casting animations of Leona's active skill. And adjusted stats. We have, more placeables, shorter cooldown, less cost, more HP. Just general buffs across the board. Leona has definitely been in need of some buffs. Ever since we did the creator custom with Leona, or watch that by the way, I don't think I've ever seen a Leona in a pub or in ranked, apart from myself. Leona's just not that great, unfortunately. There are some times where Leona does alright, but like, for the most part, she's not that big of a deal and can't really get that much across. Like, occasionally you'll get the cheap kill by standing in some dumb corner on the top of the map. But now, hopefully, with her blockades, she'll do a lot more. And now, with her passive skill increase, she'll be even more of a menace just on the field. She'll be more like a roaming Audrey rather than anything else, really. I mean, listen, Audrey Leona is still an amazing combo that people haven't tapped into yet. Just put an Audrey on top of a really dumb block and just go to town, you know? Why haven't I seen that more often? Yvette. When Yvette's passive skill, Camouflage, is triggered, moving or jumping briefly no longer breaks stealth. What this means is, as long as you don't activate the auto sprint, Yvette should remain invisible. Just allows you to move around small amounts, or readjust, dodge bullets, I guess, while camouflaged. So, not that big of a deal, but also pretty nice to have. Nobunaga, Awakening 1 Last Stand restores 30 HP and 30 armor instead of 50 armor. That, with the global HP change and all that, that's very welcome. Madalena, optimize the recoil of her primary weapon. Increase the damage. Decrease the headshot damage multiplier. Madalena mains, you're gonna have to tell me how that feels. I don't know enough. Daichi, please nerf. Optimize the recoil of his primary weapon. Base ammo capacity is set to 10. I mean, he has more ammo. Finally, now, he can no longer hit those nasty 180s. So, no more getting one shot by Daichi. Thank goodness. But you will have to fear about getting two tapped because his fire rate's still amazing. But, like, at that point, I think that's a you problem. Fuchsia, Hunter's Feast. Max HP gain from absorbing crystals now 30 from 40. HP adjustment makes sense. HP is now 160 instead of 140. That's good. Ultimate skills. Following Superstring agents' ultimate skills have been adjusted. Everyone's skills have been decreased by 1. More ultimates. Really, that's it. Can't really go wrong with that, I think. The duelists, specifically the Ming, Fuxia, and Baimo, I think will get a lot of mileage out of this, just because their ults are really good for entry. I think 7 and 8 points is a little too much to build for in competitive ranked. Whereas in quick play, you start with, 2 ult points or something? So it's really easy to get your... I mean, either way, this is much nicer because it just means that games go by a lot quicker. You can just use your ults more often to try to secure rounds. Yeah, so that's all the demolition changes, and general changes. So, yeah, that's about it for the balance patch here. If you want to have a read through this, I'll leave a link to this page in the description below, and you can enjoy reading through this at your own pace. I will probably not release a Mara guide video. But hey, I've gone back on my words plenty of times. Hope you guys enjoy this new season, and have a good one, guys. Peace.